Roger early on had said it's a fraudulent investigation. Presidents can't do this. Do it. For the last 3 months, he's been saying, well, or 2 months, no, he should have a special counsel to expose Mueller. Well, now Congress is actually looking at that. So you've trailblazed there. But you told me this morning, now more than ever, Trump does not need to fire Mueller because the conspiracy has been exposed. I'm surprised they were arrogant enough to have FBI minutes, memos, emails, text messages with McCabe, who was deputy director at the time. This is simply incredible that they were this bold.
Alex, it's really extraordinary. Mueller's public credibility continues to crumble. The emails, the campaign contributions, the interconnection of the rabid partisans who are working for him. As his credibility continues to erode, the president's options, I think, continue to expand. Now, were the president to fire Mueller, you'd have the immediate analogy to the Saturday Night Massacre, Nixon's firing of special prosecutor in Watergate, Archibald Cox, and the left would get what they want. Firing Mueller is unnecessary. If Mueller has indicted Flynn, if he indicts the president's son-in-law on some phony obstruction of justice or perjury charge, the president has the option now of pardoning both of them. The president needs to ignore his lawyers when they tell him that he has no authority to direct the actions of the Justice Department. He does. The Justice Department is an extension of the executive branch. He can order Jeff Sessions. He can call him right now and say, I order you to appoint Andrew McCarthy or Andrew Napolitano or Trey Gowdy or Rudy Giuliani as the special counsel to look into Uranium One. And if Sessions cannot do that or will not, he must step aside. There's nothing improper on that. And once Mueller and Comey and McCabe and Rod Rosenstein himself, who was the supervising U.S. attorney in Uranium One, are under investigation, they cannot go forward investigating.
And you've got Mueller killing Uranium One. I mean, these people literally are in a criminal conspiracy, and it's not just me saying that now. It's all these Trey Gowdy, Jim Jordan, it's Matt
Gaetz, Ron DeSantis. These guys are heroes. They have courageously gone where the established Republicans will not go. This whole idea.
And they're freaking out. The Democrats are mad that this Return America movement, Return Our Sovereignty Back to America movement won't back down. They are naked crooks with fake dossiers openly saying we're going to stop the president and remove him with made-up crap. It's a frame-up. It's a conspiracy. It's just like SJWs that get caught putting swastikas on their dorm rooms. You have been caught, scum, and they are freaking out. But I think we're at the maximum moment of danger here, Roger. You got Scarborough and all their talking points saying we're just going to overthrow Trump. We're going to get violent. Hashtag hunt Republicans. So these bullies, just like we're some intern that gets our brains bashed out, I guess, these bullies just think that they're going to tell us to fill our hand.
Well, it's a different wing of the same operation. You were the first one to call this. This is like the elites. That's Mueller and the lawyers and the insiders. And then they have their street thugs financed by Soros and others. So they intend to foment a revolution.
And Eric Holder has said hit the streets. So it's all coordinated.
Well, the problem is we're saying hit the streets. We're telling patriots, no, object. Do not allow them to take our president down in a coup d'etat. Here are the facts. This is a partisan hit squad. This is a coup d'etat. This is an illegitimate takedown of the president, not based on evidence and law, but based on animus and hatred and fear that he is challenging the two-party duopoly in the established order. You know, I have said last week that I think the course is clear, Alex. Mueller is going to indict the president in some phony process-related charge, obstruction or perjury. His lawyers are walking him into that, either out of naivete or because they're in on it.
And he needs to put the special counsel in now so that Mueller has to recuse himself to draw attention to the wrongdoings and give that a new focal point.
But I say this out of loyalty and support.
By the way, Jim Jordan now agrees with you. So you are the progenitor of the idea of the special counsel. Some are saying, no, we need to let the Inspector General do it. Why suddenly have we seen good moves by the Inspector General and the releasing of these emails and things that show the criminal conspiracy?
I think the Inspector General is a good actor. I think he's doing his his job. I think that the abuses are so glaring, the partisanship is so glaring, that he's doing his job. And I mean,
this is like cuckoo land, like Hitler sitting over the Nuremberg trial. I'm not just saying that. We have them saying, we are frauds, we are liars, we're going to stop the president, we're Democrat operatives. They all helped cover up Clinton crimes on the Russians. They are covering up by accusing Trump of their crimes at the same damn time.
But let's recognize that the president's lawyers, first they told him he would have a letter clearing him from Mueller at Thanksgiving. And then it was Christmas.
And now it's a new meeting. What about this new meeting coming up?
And now it's February 1. I think that new meeting is going to be shocking to them. There will be no letters clearing the president. In fact, I think it is very likely that Jared Kushner will be indicted in regard to the Flynn matter, once again, for a perjury regarding underlying legal activities. Process, because they don't have anything else. And that brings it one step closer to the president. Kushner's done nothing wrong.
But now they're panicking because the fake investigation has been blown sky high. They're panicking, and now they're going to the final thing, riot the streets, 25th Amendment.
Exactly. That's plan B.
Man, I've got to brag. We have called this with total precision. But I guess we've read hundreds of history books about coup d'etats and these operations.
No. We're conspiracy theorists. Yeah. Wait and see.
Yeah. We'll be right back with the calls for fomenting revolution by the left. Then they're going to blame it on us. Stay with us. Coming up, Lieutenant Colonel Smith-Meck will be joining us, who exposed Obama shipping guns to Hezbollah and ISIS. Obama went ahead and shipped the next shipments, and that really made the military angry. I mean, yeah, lieutenant colonels going public while they're active duty. That is just wild. This is now in Politico. It's just huge. We got to think about the folks. At least 3 dead. Now it's saying 80-something taken to the hospital on a supposedly faster Amtrak train, I guess, where it goes like 80 miles an hour instead of 40. Of course, you know, the Japanese have them going 250, and so do the Germans, but we don't update our railways.
But we spend millions in taxpayer dollars subsidizing Amtrak. Billions.
And so, you know, yeah, new, nice, fancy cars, but not a road. So there it crashes into I-5, killing a bunch of people on the ground. And I literally was just telling family recently, don't go on that scenic route. Don't get on an Amtrak. I mean, you're really putting your life in your hands.
Not safe. It's not safe.
They're blowing up and crashing all the time.
Despite the fact that we've subsidized Amtrak and it continues to lose money hand over fist.
We need new rail beds.
We need private enterprise.
I agree. Well, I come from a railroad type family on one side, and I mean they just grew up talking about this and all the rest of it. I mean our railroads have fallen apart. Let's pray for the folks that are fighting for their lives right now. But they tell you it's safe and great to get on these, and I think it's insane. We also have just so much huge news. I want to get in the Scarborough article, and I want you to ride shotgun with us here throughout the next interview that's coming up. But, Roger, before we play the Scarborough piece, I mean, Plan A was keep him from getting the nomination and then trying to keep him from being seated as president. Now they tried to sabotage the agenda. Now they tried to have the fake Mueller. That's blown up. So now they're going right to the final piece that was rioting in the street and violence and calling for the 25th Amendment to take place, which you first exposed.
You know, I think if Mueller shoots and misses, which is now growingly probable because he's so exposed, he's so naked in terms of his partisanship and the rabid nature of the takedown plan, then the establishment will move to Plan B, which is a 25th Amendment takedown based on the fact that the president is allegedly non-compos mentis. He's nuts. He's crazy. I've talked to him. He's sharp as a tack. He's exactly the same as he was 40 years ago. So I see no deterioration whatsoever. But you see Joe Scarborough, Don Lemon, Senator Robert Corker, and others, the misfit Keith Olbermann with this meme. He's nuts. He's crazy. He's around the bend.
But you're now willing to not give sources. Back at the first time you said this 8 months ago, you said, well, we're not going to give sources. You said when the female stuff fails, when the Russia fails, they're going to say he's mentally ill, early onset. And you talked to major writers at major papers who've been in the editorial meetings where they talk about, just like Veritas caught it on tape, the whole Russia thing's bull. Yep. What are we going to do? People aren't buying it. And they say, don't worry, 25th Amendment, we're going to say he's mentally ill and has Alzheimer's. You have that from sources. You didn't just imagine that.
No, and look, I spoke to a Trump cabinet member this weekend, and I asked them point blank, Has there been any discussion about possibly removing the president under the 25th Amendment? Has anybody spoken to you about that? Poker-faced. Just poker-faced. That's how I knew that I was right. Now, we've tracked...
Well, now they're saying it.
Well, we've tracked Senator Ben Sasse talking about it. We've talked Jeb Bush talking about it. We have talked, we know that Nick Ayers, a high-level aide to Vice President Pence, got busted leaking anti-Trump Russia information. They made Mark Lauder, the press secretary, take the fall, but it was Ayers. So, and we know now that Mike Pence did demur, according to Jennifer Jacobs of Bloomberg, in that episecond when the Billy Bush tape dropped, and the Republican,
he hung up on the president,
and the Republican National Committee and Reince Priebus were contemplating a move to remove Trump as the nominee and replace him with Pence.
We have come within millimeters of not having this American rebirth, and then people expect it to be perfect. He's totally surrounded. Here's Bloomberg admitting that all the major cabinet people basically lie to his face and are blocking everything he's trying to do, but just the little bit he's got through, things are surging back. I mean, if they're able to deep six the economy, it's on their chest.
No question about it. Look, this is the downside of appointing a cabinet of establishment Republicans. This is the downside of not surrounding yourself with people who don't have your back. No, there's a few standouts. There's a few loyalists, Wilbur Ross at Commerce, Linda McMahon, and so on. But by and large, you have establishment quislings, people.
And Trump just thought, like in business, hey, if I bring you in and you have the expertise and I'm the executive, you're not going to hate America, you know, against its own prosperous and your own. Yes, they are ideologues that were hired to begin with by the globalists because they hate America. They have an existential lust of defeat it and mount it on the wall because they're little beta cuck garbage.
Well, and one opens the door to another. So you hire a Rex Tillerson, and the next thing you know, Condoleezza Rice is running the place. And all your assistant secretaries...
But it is good news that Habib Powell got jettisoned out the airlock.
Yes, I think so. Clearly, she got caught leaking, and they had to bounce her. But McMaster will pace her with another globalist, with another Council on Foreign Relations member. The president thought, and this isn't naive, that like in all times in American history, once we had an election, America would unite. Everybody would support the president because we care about our country. He just did not understand the deep-seated animus. That
we are living in such an incredible time that the FBI would meet on record Democrats on how to engage in fraud and admit it to fraud. I mean, they are red-handed caught.
And it is a pity because, as you know, the FBI has had in American history this great reputation for probity and honesty and impartiality. But this is not meant to denigrate the men and women at the lower levels of the FBI who are the average agent. They're just trying to do their job. But at the top, this is rotten to the core. It has become a politicized
It's become
agency.
a Democratic Party whorehouse with a bunch of arrogant cucks that think they're God.
Well, I would argue that it's become a globalist establishment whorehouse because guys like Mueller do dirty work for the Bushes and the Clintons.
And they sell out to all these offshore globalists in foreign countries. In fact, they're not Russian agents. They're not Chinese agents. They are pimping us out. They are selling us out. They are sitting there as a clearinghouse selling out the country. And look at it.
Well, they have no ideology other than the ideology of greed and power and money and control and a disdain for the little person and a disdain for open democracy. But they're not Republicans or Democrats. They're not left or right. They're just evil and greedy. This is about money and power.